everybody, Sir Beaton here and welcome back to another past paper practice session. In this video, we'll be looking at some relations and functions questions, some multiple choice type questions. So let's head straight into the first question. So this one says, which of the following line graphs represents, so we have here x is greater than -2, x is also less than or equal to 4. So we see here, this less than sign, the circle over the -2 will not be shaded. All right, so we see this here ticks off and this here ticks off. And we see for this +4, that part has to be shaded because of this equal to sign at the bottom here. Less than or equal to. So we see this ticks off. So we see the answer here is simply D. All right, the -2 cannot be shaded and the 4 has to be shaded because of the equal to. So the next question says, if h of x is equal to 3x minus 2 all divided by 5, then h of -6 is equal to, so we see h of -6 would be equal to, so we see 3 multiplied by, in this case we're substituting 6 for x, so 3 multiplied by -6 minus 2 all divided by 5. So this would be 3 multiplied by -6 would be a -18 minus 2 all divided by 5. So -18 minus 2, that would give me a -20 divided by 5, which will give me a -4. So the answer here is a -4. So we need to know to add and subtract our positive and negative numbers. So the answer here is A. So the next one says, the arrow diagram above best describes the relation. So we see 2 is mapped onto 8, 2 is mapped onto 10 as well. We see 3 is mapped onto 9, and we see 4 is mapped onto 8. So let's see. Y is less than x. Y is less than x. So we see all these numbers here, they're definitely not less than the things that are mapped onto them. So that is not true. Let's see. Y is a factor of x. Y is a factor of x. So we see, is 8 a factor of 4? No. So that is definitely not true as well. So we see x is a multiple of y. X is a multiple of y. So let's list the multiples of 8. The multiples of 8 would be 8, 16, and so on. So we see these numbers are definitely not those. So that is out as well. The last one, x is a factor of y. So let's see. X is a factor of y, so we have 10 here. Is 2 a factor of 10? Yes. Is 2 a factor of 8? Yes. 9, is 3 a factor of 9? Yes. 8, is 4 a factor of 8? Yes. So the answer here is D. So the next one says, which of the following diagrams best illustrates a function? So we have A, B, C, D. So you want to know which one of these here best illustrates a function. For a function, 1 from the domain must be mapped onto only 1 in the codomain. So this is definitely out because we see here it's mapped onto 2. So that is out. And the same thing here, this is mapped onto 2. And also here again, this is mapped onto 2. But let's look at this one. We see this is mapped onto 1, this is mapped onto only 1, and this is mapped onto only 1. So the answer is D. D best illustrates a function. So with that, this has brought me to the end of this video, in which I looked at some multiple choice type questions for functions. And I want you to keep practicing these kind of questions, and I'll see you in the next video in which I'll be looking at some more questions. Until then, take care and keep practicing.